Hey there, Shakers, and welcome back to another episode of Worth Your Salt, a podcast that's here to supercharge your marketing in the health and wellness space. I'm Jennifer Orechwa, StoryBrand certified coach, and over the past 2 decades, my team and I have tested, iterated, and figured out what it takes to market and grow so you don't have to. Now I'm here to help you apply the marketing systems that truly work. At Salt Marketing, we're all about helping wellness practitioners like you build trust, authority, and a nonstop flow of clients. So if you're ready to take your practice to the next level, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Today, I'm joined by my friend Melodie Moore, the powerhouse behind Business Tech Ninjas and the creator of the Technologist role. Melodie's own journey in scaling past 7 figures taught her that bad tech isn't really the problem. It's bad self-leadership. Now, through BTN, she and her team help membership-driven businesses streamline messy systems, reduce overwhelm, and finally make tech work the way it's supposed to, in service of your vision. I've had the privilege of working alongside Melodie to support clients, and I can tell you firsthand, when she steps in, everything just clicks into place. If you've ever felt buried under the tools, the automations, or the tech decisions you don't have time to figure out, this is the episode that's going to help you breathe easier and see what's possible. Melodie, welcome to Worth Your Salt.
I'm delighted to be here.
Melodie, you've called faulty tech a symptom and not the root problem. So I'm wondering if you can share how you came to that realization and why self-leadership is at the heart of these great systems that you build.
Before, let's say 10, 15 years ago, the challenge was really access to tech. But now there are so many tools you can choose from. It's not the tool access, it's the implementation of that tool. And as business owners, we're trying so hard just to get that next client in, convert that client and everything else, that you tend to delegate out the tech to somebody that's better at it than you are. But then that person doesn't necessarily know or isn't properly trained on how to really think about tech and doesn't do something that we call end user testing, which it's so obvious that when you think about it, it's like, oh, of course you need to do that. But so few people do it. And that's what creates faulty tech, is that people just don't know how to implement it properly. And every sales page says the same thing. You buy our product and we're going to solve all of your problems. And it's going to be really easy. And we're also going to give you a back rub.
So how did you get started in this? I mean, obviously, everybody's overwhelmed by tech in some way, shape, or form. So how did you get started doing this and helping others figure it out?
I started my own business making a website for myself when I was about 20. I needed a website and I met a friend who built websites, and the business I was creating was not all that profitable, I gotta be honest. But I found that I really liked building websites and I liked design and I liked systems. And then we got into automation because I was like, it was just like the next level of systems. And I always thought that there was some magical company out there that really had this like tuned in and honed in, and like the larger companies we work with, like they surely have this just totally on tap and figured out. And as we've been working with like multi-million-dollar companies, like a lot of it is just tech chaos a lot of the time. And for me, I don't know about you, Jennifer, but I see a spice rack. Like when I look at like my spice rack and it's all disorganized, nothing gives me more joy than going in there and properly labeling them and, give me some color codes and stuff. And I kind of think about tech in that same way of, it's chaotic because people don't know how to use it properly and organize it. And half the time they don't have time to. Because again, as if you're a business owner, especially in the wellness space, well, all spaces, it is just like we need to be able to focus on sales and marketing. It's like the tech should just work.
Yeah, and it's so funny you use that spice rack analogy. We have a member of our team who's very detail oriented like that, and he likes everything organized. And it's truly an asset to have that kind of brain on your team. Now, many of our listeners are wellness practitioners, and you alluded to this a minute ago. They just feel buried under too many tools and too much, too little time. So why do you think tech feels so overwhelming for business owners? Is it just there's too many options out there?
We get caught up in shiny objects of it's sometimes easier as people to get the new CRM or replace out that logo than it is to focus on sales and marketing, because those things can sometimes be a bit harder, and the goal is often moving. So instead of focusing on the core principles that are often just not that interesting within business, we tend to add another tool. because that new CRM is obviously going to be better than the CRM that you have. And that new website platform is obviously going to be better. And we get into this shiny object syndrome. And the cure to that is really understanding, what job do you want this tool to actually solve for you? And oftentimes what we see when we implement a new tool, or a client comes into a new tool, they forget why they wanted the tool in the first place and get wrapped up in all of the other wonderful things the tool can use. So then you spend so much time either learning the tool or implementing it that you forget you just wanted to just send out emails automated in the first place. But all of a sudden you're in lead scoring now, and you have 6 different options when they come in for a PDF. And it's like, but you just wanted people to get an automated email and to have a good experience when they came in. Like, focus on that first. And I don't think this is just with tech, but in general as people, it's like we add so much noise, but that grounded now, like, what job do you actually need this to do? And it's a discipline.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you scaled your own business past 7 figures, and you figured out this kind of the, sort of the secrets of scaling. So what did that journey teach you about systems and leadership and growth?
Oh man, so much. I can't tell you how many leadership books I read and how many coaches I hired. And I got to tell you, I think a lot of the leadership knowledge out there served me to tell me what I didn't want to be as a leader, not what I did want to be. And for me, I'm a very heart-centered person. I'm very systems, and most people would describe me as fairly cut and dry. But I do truly care about my team, and I truly care about our customers. And a lot of the leadership methodologies, I think, come from a different generation of a business that wants to take as much as they possibly can from the team members, and the team members come in and they do their jobs, and then they should give as much. So it's like very much like a transactional type idea. But I think in a truly great business can be great for employees and for the business itself too. So I've learned to clarity is kindness. Love Brene Brown, her Braving Greatly, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. Brilliant book. But with tech to really thrive, you need people that are not just going to throw problems back on you, but to think it through, give you the options, and collaborate. It's not that command and control style of leadership where traditionally with like more manufacturing type ideas, it is an element of, I know what to do, I'm the leader, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and you're going to do those things. With this next generation of leadership, it's more of a collaborative, I'm going to give you the frame and the box of like, this is what it needs to be. We're going to color in those lines together and figure this out. And I personally think it's so much more fun because the pressure that you hold as a leader of having to, and I think that's why a lot of business owners go into burnout.
And I know you say you don't just fix problems, you build foundations, right? So what is that distinction, and why is it so critical for businesses that want to scale the same way you did?
So when you think about fixing problems, it's very much a what's in front of me, but that problem came from somewhere. And it will also maybe happen again. So internally, we have what we call a 4-step thinking process to help understand what kind of problem this is. And there's always a certain element within business that you deem to be reactive. But the question is, when you're reacting, is this something we should be proactive about in the future? So when we're going through the 4-step thinking process, the first step is thinking about, where are we? Look around. Like when we do this a lot with troubleshooting, is probably one of the most common things of what is that person seeing? What's going on? Just kind of getting a lay of the land. And then we look back of, well, what did they do? What did they buy previously? What's causing this error? And then we want to look forward to say, okay, hey, what is this going to happen again? So we want to fix that presenting problem of that issue, but then we also want to look back on, well, what happened in the past to cause this? Do we need to do what we call a retroactive fix? So a lot of what we do when we come into businesses is just go through the problems that are coming up. And that helps us to understand what is that foundation of how the business needs to run. If a business has strong foundations, fires are the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about having somebody who's kind of got your back. Like, we live in a world now where information is so plentiful. Like, you can go on AI, you can, research things, and all the information is there. What you really need is somebody who's going to be a partner and hold your hand and, like you said, show up with the shovel when it's time to do that. So I love that you said that. So I'm curious. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a term that we like called, is this person in the arena with me? Are they in the stands being like, well, and you can see that with tech too, because there's oftentimes lots of different stakeholders. Well, that person forgot to do that. It's like, you're not in this to take this better. You're not playing in the arena with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no finger pointing when you're in the arena. So for a wellness practice that's already successful, like, they've gotten to where they want to go, but they feel like they can grow, but they're kind of running on like duct tape and sticky notes. I see this often. What's the first shift they need to make in order to move past that chaos and really adopt the right tech to build that foundation?
Some clients that we work with, like, maybe a practitioner that does therapy potentially. So the first thing we'd look at is typically there's like an intro call that's either low cost or free. So what is that like? And what's that transition like of how they move from that free call into your paid services, and what kind of manual effort are you having to put into that, and how can we really streamline that? And then to look at what the measurements of success are on that, and then get some really clear reporting. It's so easy to get caught up in emotion in business. Mm-hmm. And if you have clear reporting of like, what if my business is doing well, this is happening at this percentage and this is happening at this percentage, and then look at what automation or tools you can put in place to improve it.
I like that. All right, Melodie, we're going to take a quick sponsorship break right now. When we come back, I want to get into your insights into simplification, something we can all put to work. We'll be right back.
Love it.
Let's be honest. Running a wellness practice takes heart and a whole lot of hustle. But what if you could simplify everything that happens behind the scenes? With Sophia Health, you can. It's the platform built just for wellness professionals, giving you one place to manage clients, bookings, payments, and visibility. And here's the best part. Sophia doesn't just help you stay organized, it helps new clients find you. So whether you're a nutritionist, health coach, or therapist, if you're ready to grow your impact and your income, head to sophia-health.com and sign up today. That's sophia-health.com. Because running your business should feel as good as the work you do.
We're back here on the Worth Your Salt podcast with Melodie Moore of Business Tech Ninjas. And so, Melodie, I'm wondering if you can walk us through what happens when a client first comes to you. How do you begin to untangle their systems and create that clear path forward?
Usually it's a little bit of therapy. Okay, a lot of therapy. Uh-huh. We tend to specialize in businesses that are around that 1 to 3 million. And at that point in time, they've had a lot of other contractors coming in. We do really well with certification programs because we find that those have the most longevity with them. When we're going in and first working with a client, I just want them to brain dump and tell me all their problems. All the things that are frustrating them, all the things that are like just annoying. And there's usually like those little things, like every time customers, like with membership sites, commonly it's like people often don't have passwords on their emails. Those little things really, really add up. And there is a simplification process that I think we've developed internally as we work with clients on a retainer that we go through on a regular basis and clean up old junk. We found this with our houses too. Like, do you have that junk drawer in your house that you just keep putting stuff in? Putting stuff in. At some point, somebody's got to go in that junk drawer and say, do I really need these throw out knives and forks that I got 2 years ago from McDonald's that I swear I was like, I'm going to need these someday. But yet you never go back to them. It's like, we just need to throw these out.
Yeah.
And there's also an element, like a lot of our clients we've been working with like 10 years plus for as long as the company's been in business. And I'd love to say that as a technologist, that we knew all of the answers at that point in time. But there's decisions you just don't know until you look back at them, especially when you're talking about testing different things, but going back and looking at it and saying, is this actually adding the value or is it adding fog? And clearing out that fog. And you do need an outside perspective for it. It's really hard to do it internally because internally people were part of making those decisions And so they're like, but that was a great option. We needed 6 different options for payment that they could pay monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, and weekly. Like, someone asked for it. So clearly we needed to build it. And I was like, okay, well, looking at the numbers, you've had 100 sales. Pretty much everybody got monthly or yearly. And then those other 2 groups, you got a really small percentage, but they account for more than half of the support tickets that come in. It's like, can we just get rid of those 2 options? Mm-hmm. And it goes one of 2 ways. Either they fight for it or like, why did we do that? Like, I don't know. Who made that decision?
Well, and you talk a lot about reducing tech debt, which is, I think, kind of what you're alluding to. So what does that mean in practice? How does cleaning that up sort of free you to focus on growth?
I like the Steve Jobs. I love his autobiography. And one of the things in it that his rule of thumb is like, you should be able to access what you want within 3 clicks. And I think that's a good way to think about it, of like, how can we be more efficient? I don't know if you can relate to this, but it feels like we're busier than ever as people, but we're not as happy. And I don't think we're as effective. And I think part of that is that things are just foggy, where we're not going through that junk drawer and clearing it out. We just keep adding stuff to that junk drawer. When it's digital, you don't get that physicality of seeing, well, we can't close the drawer anymore, so we should probably clear this out.
So I know membership-driven businesses are really your specialty. Why do you believe in memberships, and why do you think they're such a powerful model? What are the big, like the best things that come out of memberships?
Continuity. It gets rid of that feast or famine. We have a client right now that sells a one-time-ish program. It's broken up into three payments, but it's still a one-time fee. And every month she's like, I need to get more people in. I need to get more people in. I need to get more people in. And you don't end up, it's always that feast or famine. You need to get more people in. Whereas if you focus on a membership or continuity program, then you look at your people and you think, how can I answer more of their problems and serve them better on a month-by-month basis? It's like every month I'm working to deliver more value for that group, and you build up more content and help them to solve that problem better. And I like it from a relational standpoint. I like it from a stability and a business standpoint. And I like it from actually helping people move forward consistently on a month-by-month basis.
A lot of the wellness practitioners that I talk with, they worry that systems and automation will make their business feel less personal, it's a valid concern in this industry. I mean, it really is. So how can we design tech that actually enhances that client experience? How do we make sure it's personal?
The first thing is go through your systems as a user. We call it E2E testing, and it boggles my mind how many business owners or people that work in the business have never actually gone through what a customer would go through. So it's like end user testing is go through it as a new person would and feel the experience yourself. And I'm thinking at this and I'm like, I do not feel cared for by a company with administrative burden of going back and forth and confirming out meeting times. Do you know what would really blow me away as a personal interaction? Jumping on that call and that admin assistant that's probably at least spending like an hour and a half right now, going back and forth on that, looking at my site, looking at my things and getting more clarity on like who I am. And like that to me is that personal interaction. So the magic of technology is not to take away from the personal interaction. It's to focus you in on the value add personalization of somebody that you can see when they're dropping off, when they forget something, and that somebody can reach out at that point in time. Whereas we call them low value tasks. That going back and forth, confirming out meetings is a low value task. A high value task is something that automation can't do, can't add. And it's that human interaction, but good automation enhances the personal touch, doesn't take away from it. Bad automation takes away from it.
That makes sense. All right, Melodie, thanks so much. It's time for another quick break. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to the Worth Your Salt podcast, and today I'm talking with Melodie Moore, who's given us a clear picture of how wellness practitioners can simplify their systems and finally get out from under that tech overwhelm. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so be sure to join us over on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and let us know how you're leveraging new tech to grow your practice. We're back. And so before the break, Melodie, you were walking us through how tech can enhance that customer journey and increase client or patient lifetime value for wellness practitioners when we're able to add that personal touch. And so now I'd love to look ahead a little bit because technology isn't standing still. Neither are we. We've talked about how fast things are moving. So let's talk about what's next, the trends, the role of AI, the opportunities that might help wellness practitioners not just catch up, but stay ahead. On your website, you talk about being AI first. So what does that mean in practice? How should wellness practitioners be thinking about AI in their own businesses right now?
I think the first thing is to enhance yourself and your work using AI. I wouldn't say it's as easy as what a lot of the posts on Facebook might lead you to believe. I think the challenge with AI right now is that people are making it something else to be on their to-do list. Your first step should be looking at what you're already doing and seeing about how AI can make the time that you're spending on those things less. So for me, content creation, I used to spend it would take me a week or two to produce a blog post or something. But now with AI, I can brain dump into AI and then it can help me refine out my ideas. And then it also helps me create the LinkedIn post, the Substack post, this, that, and the other. So the future is AI enhanced. People that lean too much on it will, I think, fail because that human interaction is going to become even more important with that. So it's kind of like a weird dichotomy of we're going to be using more AI, but people are going to value the human interaction so much more going forward. I foresee the day, I have a Tesla and it's gone in for service. I foresee the day that you're going to have to pay an additional fee to have a concierge that's not AI. So the AI is going to be the standard, and it's like, oh, you want to talk to a person? Well, that's our premium support.
That's for sure. Yeah, maybe we should all look at that as a new business model, a new way of looking at things. So if you look ahead 2 or 3 years, and that's kind of what you're doing here, what tech advancements do you see changing the way that service businesses like a wellness business operates? How do they serve clients better in a few years in the future?
I think a lot more will come of just really looking at how we're spending our time. And my true hope is that we'll get out of this busyness addiction that we're in right now of doing more and instead focus on doing less, but doing better things. I don't know if you found this with yourself or with clients that you work with, but there's this pressure to always be busy. But activity does not necessarily mean better. And, if you look back at what our forefathers thought technology was going to be, there was a real fear that all of this automation was going to make it what are people going to do? They're just going to have so much leisure time. In reality, what's happened is we've just filled that space with other things.
Yeah. So to end kind of on a positive note, what does it look like when tech really works in a wellness business or a service-based business? Paint us a picture of what that freedom and clarity and growth feels like.
There is an element of just when we typically do work with companies where tech has been failing for quite a while, and there's almost a little bit of a PTSD with it. It takes a while to feel that stability, and things just work consistently. And when they don't work, there's a process of, oh, okay, so we're going to look back. We're going to see what happened on this. We're going to address the issue. We're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, no sweat. There's just this element of ease that comes of the technology is doing its job and I can focus on the right things that I need to be focused on at any given time. And there's this level of ease that comes that I personally think it's kind of magical.
Very, very much so. And I think that simplification is what everybody's after. I know everybody listening is probably wondering how to get in touch with you, how to help get your help to simplify their systems. Tell me a little bit about Business Tech Ninjas and where we can find you.
So YouTube, Business Tech Ninjas, I produce a lot of content, really trying to help people understand the technologist mindset of how do you think about tech in the right way. We're very focused now on helping companies train their team in tech because they find that a lot of the reason why tech isn't done well is because people just don't know what they're doing with it. And there's no way to really learn it at this point in time. So they can find us on YouTube and on our website. We do work where we will tackle stuff for you, and we'll also work with you to train your team. One of the core things that I think every business needs is just more organization around their stuff, so that I can't tell you how many companies it's like, where are your sites hosted? I don't know. Jimmy set that up 3 years ago. What email? And we just waste so much time with those types of things. And just tech can be a lot better. And it is just a matter of stepping out of that magical thinking of, oh, if only I switched out this CRM or this website builder or found this magical person. I'm not that magical person. It takes work. It takes time. It's messy, but gosh, when that spice rack is organized, it's beautiful.
I love that. Of course, if you want to learn more about Melodie and Business Tech Ninjas, you can check her out at businesstechninjas.com. And all of that will be linked up on our website at saltmarketing.co. But right now, Melodie, it's time for our lightning round questions. These are a few quick questions that I like to ask of every guest. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I am so excited about this because you're such an interesting person. So my first question is, what's something about you that often surprises people?
That business I mentioned at the beginning of the call, I was going to be a professional hula hoop dancer, and it's a lot cooler than what you think. It is a form of a dance. But yeah, I mean, I think most people think, okay, tech, not necessarily very rhythmic, but I love dance a lot. It helps me balance.
Very nice. Who knew that a professional hula hoop dancer was even a thing? I love it. So your next question is, what is your favorite thing about the work that you do?
I think the impact on clients, like a lot of our clients were not able to take vacations before we started working with them because all of the systems and all of the tools were so in their head, and to train somebody to be able to manage them when they're gone, and they're like, we just don't take vacations. We had one client, I think it had been 5 years. She was the operations manager since she'd been able to take time off. And she was able to go and spend time with her family over in Europe. And I think she's pretty consistently taking time off every 3 months now. And nice. she's like a different human.
Yeah, I imagine so. All right. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Keep it simple.
That's very true. I like that. All right. Last question. Who is inspiring you right now? What podcasts are you listening to? What's the best book you've read recently?
I'm currently listening to the Steve Jobs audiobook, which is very fascinating. And then there's a book, Scaling Something, that I am currently reading, which I'm a big fan of. And I don't remember the actual name of it. I have to look in my other portion. But it's almost like a next level of AHAGs from Jim Collins that really adds another layer of nuance to it. And I think it's brilliant.
Very nice. You'll have to share that with me. We'll put it in the show notes. Melodie, thank you so much for joining me today on Worth Your Salt.
Thank you for having me. It's been a smash.
I also want to thank you, Salt Nation. And of course, if today's conversation has you thinking, I'm ready to take my marketing to the next level, that's exactly what we're here for at Salt Marketing. Our salted system is designed to help wellness practitioners like you attract new clients, convert them into loyal fans, and finally get marketing that works without the guesswork. If you have a great success story, I'd love to talk with you and share your story. So tell us about why you're worth your salt by emailing us at grow@saltmarketing.co. And of course, be sure to subscribe to Worth Your Salt so you never miss an episode. Leave us a review or give the show a handful of stars wherever you get your content. That's all for this episode of Worth Your Salt. Be sure to join me again next time. In the meantime, let's get out there and shake things up. Perfect. We are out.
You're so good at that.